All right. Hello and welcome to the Oliveboard platform. My name is Antara Bhoyan, and in this particular session, we are going to discuss the mock test for your SSC CGL Tier 1. This is a series going on every Monday at 1 p.m. We are discussing the general awareness section. Similarly, you can find the other subjects and the other sections as well on this particular platform. All right, so my voice is clear. You can hear properly. Yes, okay. And the screen is clearly visible. The writing can be seen. So let us begin with our today's session. Feel free to mention anything in the chat box as I am seeing your chats as well. Okay, so as I'm seeing your chats as well, feel free to mention it on the comment box. Okay. All right, so let us begin with the session. Question number 1. Who was crowned as the winner of Miss Universe 2025 pageant held in Thailand? So who was crowned as Miss Universe 2025? What is the answer? The answer here is Fatima Bosch. Fatima Bosch was crowned as Miss Universe 2025. So this will be simple fact-based question. Which of the following statements about badminton is correct? Badminton was invented in China. Now the invention of badminton is not very clear, but say some form of the sport has been there since ancient India or since ancient times as well. The modern form can be, say, you can say more or less in the British time period. It can be understood as okay, developed in India as well, and somewhere in this, Eurasian belt completely. So just mentioning it as invented by China, so that won't be correct. Sania Nehwal won India's first Olympic medal in badminton. So this statement is correct as Sania Nehwal won India's first Olympic medal in badminton. Next you see the Thomas Cup is associated with women's hockey. So Uber Cup is associated with women's hockey and Thomas Cup is associated with men's hockey. So this statement is also wrong. And then badminton became an Olympic sport in 1968. So this statement is also wrong because somewhere around the 1972 to 1992, from a demonstration sport to a complete like medal will be given, that kind of a sport it was going on. So full-fledged, none of these years are near. And probably they want you to know that Sania Nehwal won India's first Olympic medal in badminton, which will give you the correct statement. So B is the correct statement. Next question. I think I'll have to just a little bit shift towards this side so that I can tick on this next button easily. Okay, next question. Which of the following statements about NNP, that is Net National Product, are correct? Yesterday itself in the economy section, we studied about national income and inflation, right? So we studied GDP, we studied GNP, and we studied NNP, right? So now let us look at the statements and decide which are correct. NNP is calculated by subtracting depreciation from GNP. So how did we calculate NNP? It was by subtracting the, say, depreciation from GNP. So this statement A is correct. So this one will be removed. Look at the next statement. NNP is same as national income. NNP, is it same as national income? No. For national income calculation, we have the product method, we have the income method and the expenditure method, right? So B is incorrect. So B you have to remove and you are left with C as the correct answer. Let us look at statement number C. NNP accounts for factor income from abroad. So in GDP, we calculate the gross domestic product. But what if somebody is sending money from outside and then somebody is sending from here also? So all these has to be calculated in your say GNP, right? And then when it comes to NNP accounts for factor income from abroad. So this statement is also correct. So A, B is incorrect and C is correct. So A and C are correct. C will be the correct answer. This we had studied in yesterday's economy class itself. Which of the following missions launched India's first reusable space shuttle technology demonstrator? So in current affairs, we have studied Pushpak, right? Pushpak was there. So India's first reusable space shuttle technology. So that is reusable space shuttle technology is RLD, reusable launch vehicle. This is reusable launch vehicle. Okay, so B is the correct answer. This was demonstrated by whom? Demonstrated by ISRO. Coming to the next question. Which of the following was not a provision of the Charter Act of 1813? This is from when you study polity, the historical background. There we study from 1773 Regulating Act. Then you study the Pitt's India Act and the Charter Acts, right? So mandatory to know 1813, 1833, 1853, and especially these two, right? So here, at least the basic you all must be knowing that, okay, the monopoly will be removed, but what about tea and trade with China? That is going to stay, but here that is also removed. Let us see. Not a provision, which is not a provision, okay? It ended East India Company's monopoly over Indian trade except for tea and trade with China. This is correct. This was a provision because the first thing that you learn for the Charter Act of 1813 is that the monopoly ended except tea and trade with China, right? So this statement is correct. This is the first statement that you learn for 1813. It permitted Christian missionaries to propagate religion in British territories in India. So this statement is also correct, that it permitted the Christian missionaries to propagate the religion in India. It earmarked an annual sum of rupees 1 lakh for the promotion of education. This statement is also correct. And now you have to decide how to spend this 1 lakh, and there will be debates again. It abolished the company's judicial and revenue functions. So the separation of judicial and revenue function that we study in 1793, and then transferring them fully to the crown. So there are differences like here. First of all, in 1793, the separation is going to take place. And then in the St. Helena Act also, the revenue functions will be, say, removed, right? Which is the Charter Act of, is it 13? No. So this is 33. So this statement is not a provision. This is not a provision of the Charter Act of 1813. So 1, 2 and 3 are correct, which anyhow you study with 13. And see, or the separation is in 1793. So this is not correct. D will be the answer here. It is not a provision of the Charter Act. Next question. Which of the following about Prayag Prasasti, Allahabad pillar inscription of Gupta period is correct? So history basics you study in the Gupta period that there was the king. What is the name of the king? Samudragupta. During the time of, when you study Samudragupta, there you study the Allahabad pillar inscription as well, right? Or also known as Prayag Prasasti. Allahabad being a, say, important, holding the important geographic position for, say, in terms of transportation, in terms of the goods and transport. So that is why anyhow that is important. Composed by Hari Sena in Sanskrit on Allahabad pillar, correct? Who composed the Allahabad pillar inscription or Prayag Prasasti? So that was composed by Hari Sena. This is correct. Classifies Samudragupta's rival into groups including Dakshinapatha kings, the kings from the south or coming from that direction, and forest shears known as atavikas. So this statement is correct, and they are asking which is correct. Authored by Bana Bhatt, no, it is not correct. In Prakrit, now if you will see Pali and Prakrit, that was, you study that in the Buddhist time period, right? During the peak time of the period. Then issued by Chandragupta II, and so that is also incorrect. And then okay, that is also incorrect. So you have only clear options are provided. Next question. Given below two statements, one is labeled as assertion and another is labeled as reason. Let us see. The Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has removed the mandatory requirement of clinical specular equipment in cornea transplant centers through an amendment of 2025. Okay. Then corneal blindness is identified as the second leading cause of blindness in the age group of 50 plus in India. So is it correct? Yes, both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. But see, both are not directly related as such. So this is not the reason, since cornea blindness is identified as the second leading cause of blindness, that is not the reason why the Union Health Ministry has removed it, right? So both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Okay, coming to the next one. Question number 33. Which of the following statements are not true about Census 2011? According to Census 2011, 41.16% of India's total population was living in cities. Now, you all must be knowing that now and again, we keep on referring that 70% population in rural India, 70% population in rural India. So what does it mean, majority? That means the rest, that is approximately 30% is living in the cities or in the towns, right? But here it is given as 41%, 41.16%. So this statement is not true. Let us look at the next one. Literacy rate significantly improved to 74.04% in 2011. So this statement is correct, because just like here, we keep on referring as, sometimes as 65 also we refer, but at least not say 60%. We don't go to that. So 68 to 70% reference, you must have heard many times that 70% of the population is like doing agriculture based activities and staying in the rural areas, or you can say 65 agricultural based activities and 70% in rural area. This is referred again and again. So that means what is left? 30% is left. Similarly, approximately 25% population literacy was not there in 2011, and that means say roughly 74% has the literacy. And again, another rough say statistics is that 15% does not have proper access to 2 times meal. Okay, so that is also true. So here statement number B is correct and A is not correct, which is not true. So only A is not true. Okay, so A is the correct answer, that only A is not true. What does the pineal gland secretes? So the pineal gland, it secretes what? Melatonin, dopamine, nephrine, or epinephrine. So if you will go for the most common, which is known, is your melatonin. This helps to regulate sleep. Okay, so sleep is or induces sleep. If somebody is not able to sleep, insomniac, then the doctor might suggest melatonin. Nowadays it is coming in the form of gummies, etc. as well, and available like over the counter OTC as well, it has become. So that is your melatonin. Which gland secretes? Pineal gland secretes melatonin. Next question. Who among the following was hailed as the saint of the santoor and the king of the strings? So it is a musical instrument, you must be knowing. So for music, saint of the santoor, Padma Shri awardee, and as well as your Sangeet Natak Academy awardee, Pandit Bhajan Sapori. Pandit Bhajan Sapori. So C is the correct answer. Saint of the Santur. The Attorney General of India holds office for a term of 5 years, 6 years, 3 years, none of the above. So we study this in the normally also that Attorney General, that means will be the legal advisor appointed by President. The post will be pleasure to President and there is no fixed term. So that is why none of the above is correct. Similarly, if you have not studied the constitutional bodies, the article numbers and the importance, what is associated with what, high cost benefit, please study the topic. Next is, in which year the flagship Smart City Mission scheme was launched? So just like they will keep on asking you Jan Dhan year, similarly they will keep on asking you Smart Cities Mission. So it was in the year 2015. So in current affairs, also, I keep on referring to this, that whenever you study economic schemes, okay, in yesterday's PPT also, you will find in the PDF, whenever you study economic schemes, the basics must always be there. Plus, then you keep on, adding month-wise what new schemes are important. What is the chemical formula of blue vitriol? It is used as a pesticide, herbicide, okay. So it is used as a pesticide and blue vitriol. So by this you can probably understand that there will be what? Copper element. So it is copper sulfate pentahydrate because penta means 5. So this is used as a pesticide. D is the correct answer. Which of the following causes rainfall in northwestern India during winter? In this northwest region of, say, in Rajasthan, if you will go to travel, you will find normally, say the rain is scarce, but then why there are these big bridges made? Why it is like that? The reason is when the rain will come, the heavy rain can also come at times, like once in 5 years, or whenever the western disturbances is very high, when the westerly jet streams will come and there will be the cyclonic effect. So because of all of this, they can receive the heavy rainfall in even in Rajasthan. Then in parts of Punjab, the rabi crops are benefited by what? This winter rain is very much essential. Only because of this winter rain, we are getting the rabi crops, right? So in parts of Punjab that is there, and parts of Haryana. So in this Rajasthan, Punjab and Haryana region, why do you find this? You find this because of, and because of that you get the good, say, rabi crops, right? Because of this winter rain, okay? This you study as basic for that when you study western disturbances, okay? In climate, you study this. In the complete topic, climate monsoon, in that complete topic, you study western disturbances, you study the westerlies, and then you study the El Nino, La Nina. So there you study this as well, okay? Which of the following causes rainfall in northwestern region during winter? So in this region, is it the southwest monsoon, northeast monsoon? No, these are normal monsoons, so these are not the reason. And weak temperate cyclones from the Mediterranean Sea. So if you find the direct option, western disturbances, good enough, okay? If not, then where does this originate? This originates in the Mediterranean Sea, and from there this westerly jet stream will come to this particular region. There is the cyclonic effect. So this origin place they have given in the option, okay? So the topic is in the western disturbances, weak temperature cyclone from the Mediterranean Sea. Then local conventional current. So rest are not correct. C is the correct answer here. Look at the next question. Consider the following statements about an era of darkness by Shashi Tharoor. It is based on Tharoor's 2015 Oxford Union speech on the economic and social impacts of British India. Then, okay, so 1 is there. The book argues that British colonialism economically drained India. So multiple speeches also he have mentioned that. Okay, so 2 is definitely correct. Let us see what other options is there. So 1 and 2 are correct, right? 1 is correct and 2 is correct. This one at least we can eliminate. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Let us look at 3. It is a fictional retelling. See, obviously, even if you know that 2 is correct, even if you know 2 is correct, so it is not a work of fiction, right? It is a fictional retelling of India's independence movement. So 3 does not go hand in hand with 2. If it is about the reality of British colonialism and how it drained India, that means 3 cannot be true. It is not a fictional retelling, right? So 3 cannot be true. 3 cannot be true. 3 cannot be true. That leaves us with only one option, that is A is correct. So even if you know about 2 and 3 and you don't know about 1 and 4, still you can answer this question. It won the Sahitya Academy Award in 2019. Even if you don't know, you are left with only one option, that is option number A. Okay, so A is correct. Look at the next question. I'll just close the door because this vehicle noise is coming. Okay, question number 41. Consider the following statements regarding 14th edition of bilateral exercise Ecuvarine. Okay, let us consider the statements. They want to know which is correct. The exercise is a joint military engagement between Indian Army and Maldives National Defense Force. Okay, so statement number 1 is correct. In the Dhivehi language, the term Educarine translates to friends, symbolizing the bond between two nations. So this statement is also correct. That will give us to what? Both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, so C is the correct answer. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Next question. Consider the following statements. Kalbelia, you all must have studied this in the topic cultural dance forms, folk dance forms, and then you study classical languages, now being 11. So all these things they can ask you. Kalbelia is a folk dance performed by the eponymous nomadic community of Rajasthan. So Kalbelia is associated with Rajasthan nomadic community. The color of the dress is black. It is like a snake dance. So traditionally known as the snake charmers. So statement number 1 is definitely true. You all must be knowing that, right? Look at statement number 2. In 2010, Kalbelia folk songs and dances were included in UNESCO. So they were included in UNESCO representatives list, that is intangible cultural heredity of humanity. So this statement number 2 is also correct. The dancers exclusively women. Yes, Kalbelia, the dancers, if you will see the photo, see with the folk dance, always have a look at the photo. In that case, in your mind, it will be fixed that there is a woman, group of women wearing the black, say, kind of ghagra dress, and then the performance is done. Performs thrilling and acrobatic movements that mimics the flexibility and grace of a serpent. So 1 and 3 are correct, or 2 is also correct. So that will lead us to 1, 2, and 3 as the correct answer. Next question. Consider the following statements. Okay, if the next external torque, if the net external torque acting on a rotating system is 0, the total angular momentum of the system must remain constant. So torque, hold a human being, imagine the neck will go on one side, the body on go on one side, this kind of a twisting, and if acting on a rotating system is 0, the angular momentum of the system must remain constant. If there is this angular momentum, if it is not constant, then it will not be 0. So statement number 1 is correct. 1 is correct. 1 is correct. Let us look at 2. In a condition of pure rolling on a stationary surface, the point of the object in contact with the ground is momentarily at rest. So that is why whatever you are rolling, say a lattu or anything like that, this point is stationary and the rest of the rolling is happening. So this statement is also correct. So both 1 and 2 will be the correct answer here. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding the Treaty of Allahabad. Okay. It was a direct result of Battle of Buxar. So whenever you study Battle of Buxar after that Treaty of Allahabad, this you study, right? So this statement is definitely true. The treaty gave Diwani rights of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha to East India Company. This by default you study with Battle of Buxar. So both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. Next question. Which of the following represents an ecotone between desert and forest? Desert means it is completely arid zone and forest means it is, say, normal, good zone, right? So what is in between? In between you will find the semi-arid zone. Semi-arid zone. If desert will be classified as thorny, cactus, right? Completely. And forest will be proper trees, etc. Right? So what is in between? Something like semi-thorny or most of the like shrubs. So you can say the shrublands, right? Marshlands, no, it will have say marshy lands, it will have more water content. It is not semi-arid. Grasslands, yes, this in between you can say as grasslands. It can be grasslands, it can be shrublands, okay, something in between desert and forest. In terms of biodiversity also, it will be comparatively lesser than this, comparatively lesser than, say, your forest and more than your desert in terms of biodiversity as well. Glaciers, estuaries, so these are not correct. B is the correct answer. Ecotone between desert and forest. Desert means complete arid and ecotone or in between zone, the transition zone will be semi-arid. So B is the correct answer. Given below are two statements, assertion and reason. Choose the correct option. Okay, assertion 1. 103rd Constitutional Amendment enables reservation based on economic criteria for sections other than SC, ST and OBC. So that is what the 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act is about. So this statement is correct. Next, before the 103rd Amendment, empowered state to provide reservation in education institutions for social and economically weaker class. Yes, so this one is correct and this is also correct, but is it directly related? Is the statement directly, is it the correct, are the reason why we have come up with A? So both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. That is not the reason. Okay, so we will go for B as the correct answer. Devinder Singh Garcha, who passed away in January 2026 from the obituary section also, was the legendary Indian player associated with which sport? So Devinder Singh Garcha associated with hockey. B is the correct answer. Consider the following statements regarding western disturbances in North India during winter. This is a similar question in Northwest region, you can say Rajasthan region, or in North region and the states of Rajasthan, Punjab and Haryana, right? Now let us see. Western disturbances are extratropical storm originate in the Mediterranean region and West Asia. Now we have already studied that in that question also, it originates in the Mediterranean region. Okay, so this statement is correct. Is it correct or not? This is correct. Okay. They causes winter rainfall. The question was about winter rainfall and snowfall mainly in the northwest part of India. So it causes in this region, it will cause the winter rainfall, which is good for the rabi crops we had discussed. And in the snowfall region, it will bring the snowfall. Okay. So that is fine. Especially Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh and Himachal Pradesh. So this is correct. Western disturbances weakens the rabi crop. We had discussed that in the previous question also. It is good and essential for the rabi crops. It weakens the rabi crop. This is wrong. Yes, because they never bring any beneficial moisture to North India. So they're responsible for the rainfall and they are responsible for the, so this statement anyhow cannot go with this if you will relate that also if you don't know. So we have to remove 3 and that will lead us to 1 and 2 as the correct answer only. Okay, so 1 and 2 is correct. Match the following. River and place of origin. Jhelum, where is it? One is with, Jhelum is with Kashmir we have to find, no? One is with sea. So we have only one option, that is one is with C. Our answer is already there. Okay. But still, if we want to check once, okay. So we already got the answer by just knowing that Jhelum is in Kashmir. Okay. Place of origin. Then it can flow, but they're asking place of origin. 2. Rabi. This is in Himachal Pradesh. Rabi from this, say Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas, Satluj. Ravi is the only one which originates in India and ends also in India. Okay, so Ravi is with Himachal Pradesh origin. And then you have Satluj, origin Tibet, and Ganga, Gangotri, right? So Uttarakhand. So 4 is with D. That will lead us to D as the correct answer. Next question. Which of the following statements is incorrect? Let us see which is incorrect. A fuse is a safety device used in the electric circuit, correct? In the electric circuit, fuse will be used, and if anything goes wrong, the fuse will melt and the circuit will break and the flow of electricity will stop, protecting or saving your equipment. Okay. A fuse has a high melting point. This statement is wrong, which is incorrect. So B is your correct answer because a fuse will have a low melting point, right? A fuse is connected in series in the circuit. This is true. It is connected in series. A fuse protects the equipment from overloading, circuit from overloading, and thereby it will melt and it will break the circuit. So B here is incorrect because it is saying high melting point, whereas fuse has low melting point. So I think that is the questions from the general awareness section. So I'm going to end this section here. If you want to visit the other sections as well, then you can see that for general intelligence, for quants, for English, you can visit the other section classes as well on this particular YouTube channel. So please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.